well. And I ended up doing North Americans instead, and that's where we are now. I ended up placing 5th for North Americans. It was funny is I actually was trying to be a heavyweight for that.
Right.
And a week out, I had Factory help me, and a week out, Factory's like, I said to him, I go, listen, I don't think I want to be a heavyweight. He goes, why? And I'm like, well, I'm going to be like the bottom of the class. In a national show, it's a mistake.
Yeah.
Like, unless you're short and you have crazy muscle bellies, they might pull it off, like
right.
Clark did, you know, with
right.
203.
Yeah, I don't know how he was actually a heavy and won.
Yeah,
but
I don't even know why he cut more pounds to be a light heavyweight.
I know, that's what it seems like now.
Yeah. So I decided to lose weight, make it light heavyweight. So, and this should not be repeated by anybody. Disclaimer. I'm willing to push the envelope with some things. I'm educated enough to know when is enough, at least I hope. And it worked out because I'm still alive. So Monday before the show,
being Saturday.
Yep, the show being Saturday.
And the weigh-ins being Thursday.
Weigh-ins being Thursday. So the Saturday before, I was 217 in the morning.
And you got to get to 198.
198 and a quarter.
And a quarter, 0.6 or whatever it is.
Yeah. So I started, dropping things out. Try to lose water, try to eliminate my sodium, drop my sodium in half to see how much that water would come down. Started some diuretics, started some laxatives. Laxatives were a mistake because they didn't work. It almost made my stomach
made you
more
rebound.
comfortable.
It makes you rebound too, right?
Well, I didn't do anything. I did. I used a stool softener, and I did a suppository.
But at that point, you're
systemic laxative would devastate the whole system,
right?
Because that has a half-life. When it's a suppository, it's over in 2 hours.
It's instant.
Mistakes. Long story short, after manipulating the water, the sodium, cutting out the carbs, and then completely stop eating, by Wednesday night, I was 207.
And you have one day.
And I have less than one day. I had to be 2 p.m. Yeah, basically one day. 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. weigh-ins.
And you have to drive.
Thursday. Oh, yeah. So at the time, I was supposed to go with my wife, my good friend Jay, and his wife Nicole, and we're all going to drive me down to Chicago. And then I got thinking, I'm like, oh, man, I need to get to weigh-ins before weigh-ins because I got to have adequate time to do whatever it takes to make weight because I'm going to make weight. Don't worry about it. And my mom was supposed to come down later that day and then, come into Friday.
Right.
She's like, Mom, can you be at my house tomorrow morning at 4:30 in the morning? She's like, well, why? I'm like, well, I have to make weight and I need to get to Chicago. And I'm not Chicago, what am I saying? Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
I need to get there before 2 p.m. I think it was like a 9-hour drive or 10-hour drive, whatever it was. And I go, if we leave at 4:30, but one thing too, my mom doesn't like when I drive. I'm like, you gotta let me drive. That's another indication in this. And she goes, okay. I said, I won't pay attention then. I'll bring things to read. So my mom shows up at 4:30, and I wake up Thursday morning, and I was down till I think 205, 204 and a half. And
you still got a long way to go.
Yeah, a long way to go. So at that
7 hours.
And I'm driving like a maniac there, and my mom's just got the newspaper, not paying attention. I'm like, Mom, thank you so much, thank you so much. I'm not eating, not drinking, and I brought the scale with me, obviously, and I'll stop at the gas station and weigh myself. And then at one point, I'm like, Mom, I have to do desperate measures. She's like, what? I'm like, I'm going to put the heat on the car. We're going to blast it. Are you okay? Can you please do that, please? Make weight.
Just got her head out the window.
Yeah. She's like, okay, we'll deal with it. She's like, she doesn't mind being hot anyway. So I jammed on the heat, sweatshirt, winter hat, trying to sweat even more. And I don't even know how I'm passing out because I drove the whole way on depletion, dehydration.
Yeah, this is not something that should be ever done again.
Never. I had to listen to country music and I don't think it's country music, but I don't really enjoy it, but it makes me calm.
Yeah.
Because it's not crazy and upbeat.
Right.
So I'm just bumping country music all the way down there. Just take calm. Just relax. I'm thinking stress hormones, getting cold water.
Yeah.
Just chill out, relax. So it was funny. My mom worked a routine. Whenever we had to go to the bathroom, we only could stop if we saw a quick get on, get off. And the goal was to get gas, get a water, and bathroom all at the same time. So we'd get out. It was tactical. My mom would get the gas. I'd run to the bathroom. I'd come back out, finish pumping gas. She would go get the water, meet her in the car, go. Yeah. Get there, go upstairs, rip off myself, get completely naked, throw the scale on the ground, and I brought 2 scales. Just in case.
To make sure.
Scale,
yeah.
It's a melted scale. Because who knows if it's off, and who knows if their scale is heavy or light. So I get on the scale. kidding me? Yeah. So I called the front desk. I'm like, do you guys have a sauna here? And they go, yeah, downstairs. I'm like, oh, where? I go in the sauna. My mom's not cool with this. My mom's like, oh my God, you're gonna pass out. I'm not gonna know because the sauna was in the men's room.
Right.
I'm like, Mom, just send a guy in or something. I don't know. I'll be fine. I'll check in.
Mom, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's famous.
Yeah. So my mom's like waiting outside the men's room. You know, what was this lady hanging on the end of the men's room for? And I'm in the sauna. So like, I jammed the temperature to like an average of 115, 120, and I took the humidity to 0. And I'm like, turn the humidity all the way down. I'm like, evaporate off as much sweat as possible.
Yep.
And so I sat in there for 10 minutes, and I'm like, I'm just gonna stay in here and keep texting to keep my mind occupied, and just wait out this 10 minutes. And if I feel dizzy, I'm gonna freaking jump out that window because I don't want to die in the sauna. So I get out and I get dizzy. I walk out, and some guy comes in and he goes, "Is your name Chris?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Your mom sent me here to check on you." I'm like, "Tell her I'm fine." He goes, "You sure?" I was like, I was on all fours on the
Yeah,
phone.
you're like,
And I was like trying to breathe. I felt a little dizzy. I sat down there, got my blood pressure back. I'm like, okay, I feel a little better. And I didn't feel good, so I'm like, I'm gonna go
the
upstairs.
sauna does not feel good the last week.
Especially after all that.
No.
And so I'm like, I'm gonna go upstairs, cool down in the thermostat, and then rest, and then do it again. So I go upstairs.
Well, what'd you weigh when you went upstairs?
Yeah, so I went upstairs, I'm like, I almost don't want to check yet. I just want to be like overkill. So I went upstairs and I checked, and I was like, 200. I'm like, whoa. I go 4 pounds in 10 minutes? Jackpot.
Yeah.
So I get on my other scale, it's like 199.1. I'm like, whoa. So I go downstairs and I do 10 more minutes, and I do 5 more minutes, just to make sure.
Yeah.
And I come back upstairs, it's like, my scale says 196.
Oh, shit.
And I look at the clock, I'm like, it's 150.
Like, you can go do it right now.
I'm like, I gotta figure this out. So I run downstairs. Well, it was funny, it's like I couldn't even walk downstairs. My knees and my muscles were so weak that when I would walk downstairs, I felt like my knees were gonna collapse. They felt so weak.
Yeah.
So I took the elevator, went downstairs, and I see the guy, like they're so busy. Sometimes like, competitors asking millions of questions. I didn't want to rock the boat, and I'm like, excuse me, he's like, is there a possibility that maybe I could check my weight now? And he goes, yeah, man, come on in. They're so friendly there. I was surprised. And I come in, and I sit down, and I go walk in there, and he goes, yeah, jump on the scale. So I jump on the scale, and he's just like, I can't see what he's doing. He goes, oh, 198, right? You're light heavyweight? I'm like, excuse me? He's light heavyweight, 198, you're 198 even. I'm like, no, I was actually registered as a heavyweight. I want to change to light heavyweight. He goes, not a problem. What's your name? And I was like, watch him carefully make sure he puts in the right stack.
Yeah.
Boom.
Because it can go awfully wrong.
I walk over there, I call Falcon, how do we undo what I just did? He's like,
I look like terrible.
I look terrible. I've lost like 19 pounds of just water and depletion. I go, what do I do? And he's like, we'll start drinking 8 ounces of fluid every meal, add the food back in. And it was funny, as my wife showed up with Jay and Nicole, like, I don't know, 2 hours after I had 2 meals. And they kept looking at me like, when you look at somebody who's got like a burned face or like
something's
a big
wrong.
Zit in their nose, and people are kind of looking at you kind of funny, like you could tell they're not looking at your eyes.
Yeah, they're looking at you.
And Jessica's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, why? She goes, your face is like, it's really scary. It looks like a skeleton. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. At that point, you're dehydrated and you're hungry. You're just irritated by anything.
You're in the moment,
Yeah. I'm like, I'm fine. Stop asking.
Yeah.
Even though they only asked once,
Yeah.
I'm fine. Nobody talk about it ever again. Where's the stuff? And get it out and get upstairs. So I started refeeding, and it bounced back quick. So my first thought is like, is this going good now? Because now my body's so depleted.
You can suck that up.
You can't mess it up.
No, it's hard to.
And I'm like, I was told Evan I made weight. Evan's like, eat. He's like, you can't mess this up. Eat everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm so afraid to know. Because go back the other way.
You just
want an untold story. Nobody knows about this. I'm going to break it right now.
Breaking news.
So, Thackeray's like, you're light heavyweight, so you got some time. He goes, go downstairs around like 9:30, 9:45. He goes, make sure you get an extra meal in. I go, okay. So I'm eating at 9 o'clock. I think there was like no bantamweights or no lightweights or something.
Oh, weird.
Moving so fast.
It was fast, yeah.
My wife calls me, she goes, light heavyweights are next. I'm like, what? So I'm running down the stairs. The elevator, I'm not taking the elevator.
Did you have a tan on the night before or
I
something?
had the tan, which we'll get into that. It was a disaster. I had no oil on. I ran downstairs, had nothing. Didn't pump up. And I get there, and I'm like, light heavyweights lady goes, "You're done. It's over. They're already out. Go home. Forget it." And I'm like, what can you do? So the guy comes on the corner and looks at me and goes, "Light heavyweight?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, you guys are lined up." And I'm like, that bitch.
Yeah.
I was like, my stomach just fell.
Oh my God.
Blech.
Yeah.
So I run over there, and like they're going on stage.
So no pump.
No pump. And the lady slaps some random weird oil on me, not enough.
Yeah.
And I go out there, no pump or anything. Completely unprepared, completely my fault, you know what I mean? And they're gone. And then I had to hear it from my friends.
Yeah.
Factory's like, "Why didn't you have any freaking oil on?"
Right.
He's like, "Already heard."
What's wrong with
you? He
you?
goes, "Why'd your tan suck?" Evan's like, "Why did you look so light? Did you put tan on?" I'm like, "Yeah, it was dark. I thought I was dark enough."
Yeah.
So everybody's mad at me. They're like, "Dude, what? You know, like you looked amazing."
How do you
like,
fuck that up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Factory's like, "You looked amazing." It's like, "You like the best guy."
Probably would have been top 3 if you were
Yeah.
all on
He's
point.
like, "You're the best guy I prepped, and your body's better than all of them. There's no reason." He goes, "What are you doing? Why don't you even pump up? You look flat." And I'm like, I didn't know what to say. You know,
You just thought you thought you had more time.
I'm not someone to point fingers.
So
right?
now you know.
Now I know. So Evan's like, "Dude, listen to me. Listen to me carefully." He goes, "Rub all that bullshit off of you." And he goes, "Wipe it off. Go downstairs to Liquid Sunrays. Hand him a wad of cash. And tell him to make you dark enough." And he goes, "No matter what they say, tell them you're not dark enough."
Right.
He goes, "I did it and it worked great."
Right.
He goes, "Even if you look at yourself and
You
you
look
look black,
ridiculous, yeah.
tell them that you're not dark enough."
Yeah.
So I went downstairs. I did it. I come back upstairs, and everyone in my room was like, "Whoa,
What's
you
up?
look- You look ridiculous."
Yeah.
I put this like sparkle shit on.
Oh wow.
And like the
dream
tan, the tan looked amazing, and it like made my physique like so much better. And at that time, I already had a burger and fries.
Yeah.
And now I'm like 3 pounds heavier and prejudging.
Right.
With the tan, now I'm harder.
You show up at night and everyone's freaking
My
out.
glutes are harder. Everything's harder. So I go backstage, you know, like everybody does a routine, and then they tell you who got the top 5. No, there are no routines. On top 5 do routines. So you go back there, we get ready, and then they're going through all the numbers, and I'm like, fuck, I didn't make top 5. And then they look at me like, "Oh, Chris Tuttle, yeah, you're top 5. Stick around over here." I'm like, "Oh, thank God." Now was the first time I actually believed that I had a possibility to actually become an IFB pro.
Right.
Prior to that, my whole goal was just to place top 5 at a competitive show.
Right.
And now I taste blood in the water now. I get a number that calls me, and I luckily answered. Usually I don't answer numbers I don't call, and it was David Bay. And he's like, "Hey, it's Dave from Muscular Development." He goes, "I called Evan, because I knew you used to train with him, and he gave me your number. Can you come downstairs for an interview?" So I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So you want an interview, and they call me like how good I looked. You know, "You look great, you know." And it was amazing that the judges gave you the time, because usually, you know, if they miss you, sometimes they miss you.
They clearly knew you. They saw you were on.
Right. And he's like, "How are you feeling? Are you mad?" Like, everybody expected to be pissed off.
Yeah.
I wasn't mad. And I'm like, "It's cool. Like, I'm happy." Like, everybody else is mad.
Every bodybuilding show has something like this.
Yeah. But it's a part
It just
of the
happened to
game.
be you that time.
It's a part of the game.
Yeah.
If you can't handle the game, don't play. So he's like, "You should do nationals." I'm like, "Nope. No way. No.
Nope, not doing it.
No. No, I don't think so."
Because that's 3 months later.
3 months later, I put my wife through another contest prep.
Yeah.
It's not fair to her. And my wife's like, "Time out. When's nationals?" And Dave's like, "Oh, 3 months." And she's like, "Oh, we're going to do it." and then she goes, "Well, we'll discuss, but we're going to leave it on the table. We might do that." I'm like, "Really?" She's like, "You're already this lean."
Yeah.
And she goes, "What's another 3 months? You're already here." And
Just 3 months of being in pain.
Right, another year to do it. And I'm like, well, it's like I'm not mentally prepared and to do everything and have the time and everything. Like we had a cruise booked.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go on a
Which you
cruise.
went on.
Yeah, cruise. I could go cruise in the middle of my nationals prep. And so like immediately I wanted to ask the people who mattered to me the most. I was like, ask Factory. Factory's like, "Absolutely." You know. I'm like, oh. And then you know, I trust Evan because Evan's like he's a tough critic.
Right.
Very tough critic.
He's honest, yeah.
Right. Very honest. And then I could tell if he's not honest, he's being nice as a friend, he may not be enthusiastically yes.
Yeah.
So
like, yeah, okay.
I really trust his opinion. And I was like, Ev, what do you think, given this circumstance? And he goes, absolutely. And I'm like, oh, now I have to do it.
Now you got to do it.
Now I got to do it. I have to.
The rest is history.